All right, traders, I'm going to be preparing you to trade the best setups at the best prices. Not only are we going to be breaking down the SPY, but we're also going to be going over the top stocks on my radar, including Tesla, Amazon, and Nvidia. This video is going to help prepare you to trade the best setups at the best prices. It is going to show you the key make it or break it levels and the key levels in terms of profit taking and where to keep your mental stop loss. It's also going to be going over when to be long biased and when to be short biased, what key reactions to be looking for scalping trading opportunities. With that being said, make sure you are subscribed to this channel to keep up to date if you like that preparation on how to trade the best setups at the best prices. Let's get straight into it. So first things first, we're going to be recapping the SPY. So in terms of the SPY, man, we are at very key critical micro make or break levels. I see a lot of people talking about potential call options on the dips heading into tomorrow, heading into the rest of this week. We're going to see about that. As you can see, the SPY is having a tiny move up here during extended hours. It closed at 357.74. It's at 358.25, just topped out at 359. So let's kind of break down what happened today. So the previous closing price in the pre-market reacted as a resistance. That means the bears are showing true strength, like we discussed in yesterday's video. If it tops towards 366, the bears are showing true strength, and then we will attempt to we will attempt to finally see this gap fill. The gap to fill at 357.18. Yesterday, it partially filled the gap, had a reversal. And then as stated, if it cracks below 357.18, we will be on track to the next gap, which was on the daily chart at 353. It ended up forming higher support at 355.71. Very, very nice double bottom here. So where are we now? This is what I want you to understand. The SPY, in terms of like the overall chart analysis, right? The bears have been showing up for true strength at the lower end of the channel, but they've been doing it at resistance levels. They haven't been doing it at support levels, right? So this is one thing that I really want to bring awareness to. Two things. One, don't be bearish and get caught up at a key support level hoping for a breakdown. Focus on resistance. And number two, we are not in a market to be trusting calls at key breakout levels. So just keep that in mind. If you are a breakout trader, I wouldn't focus on that. I would focus on buying the dips at key support. You see, you got this heavy support at 355. You got this heavy support right here at 355, 355, 357. A lot of support, right? I would focus on dip buying at key make it or break levels. I would strongly stay away from buying breakouts, buying rips in terms of the SPY, right? And then in terms of put options, focus on key resistance. If you're going to do it on the lower end of the channel, as you could see, if you look at the 10-day, 30-minute, we are literally at the lower end of the channel. If you're going to do it at the lower end of the channel, then do it at the key levels. You know, as mentioned, like 363, that was a very key level. 360, very key level, right? But just don't get caught up. You can even get squeezed at the key levels, but just don't get caught up in a squeeze. Don't get caught up in a dip. So those are two things that I want to bring awareness to. Now, this is what I need you to understand. You see, so now we're having a small pullback at 358, right? So it hasn't decided if it wants to gap up or gap down yet. But this is what I really want you to understand heading into tomorrow. So the bears are showing true strength because they are consistently topping out at the key resistance levels, but they're failing to crack key support. You know, it's having like small little 1 point, 2 point pullbacks from support. And, you know, it can't keep doing that. It just cannot keep doing that. In order to remain bearish, it needs to quickly take out the support and have that bloodbath. It can't keep holding up at these key support levels because, as you could see in terms of the channel, you know, if this consistently holds up, it's going to get to a point where it just explodes. You know, it has its gap close reversal. It keeps bottoming at this 357 gap. And there's a gap to fill above, right? And you do not want to get caught up in that. So this is truly make it or break. This is now the second day where it's sat at this level and it bombed at this level not too long ago as well. So I want to bring awareness to all of that. So let's talk true strength levels, right? What is our true strength level for the bears to truly remain in control and crack this support? What would you need to see occur? Previous closing price, 357.74. You need to see a strong rejection at this 357.74. Look at how critical this is on the 30-minute chart, right? Look at this. This is support at 357.67. SPY closed at 357.74, right? So like same price. You can see this has big upside potential. It quickly ran within an hour from bottoming at that level all the way to 363. And the same thing occurred today, right? Even though it put in lower lows, it bottomed out that pre-market support, but the same thing occurred, right? So for the bears to show true strength, what I'm saying is they are running out of time in terms of micro. Obviously in the macro, SPY's going a lot lower for the long term, but in terms of very, very short term price action, the bears are running out of time. They need to crack this level. They need to go under 357.74, and that needs to react as a resistance level. If it stays under that and rejects like it did in the pre-market here, then it's still super bearish at the key breakdown, and it's going to attempt to crack 355.71. And if it cracks 355.71, then it's going to break down to fill the gap. There's a gap to fill. As you could see, if we zoom in here, there's a gap to fill at this $353. That will be the next make it or break it support level. If that cracks, then it's going to go to 350. Now, things to be aware. The SPY has recently been bouncing a lot in this 350 level, ripping back up to the 363 zone. And you have a key resistance level at this 354, at this 350 level with big downside potential, right? So keep in mind, if you see this consolidating, bouncing around 353, around 350 gaps, it is going to start ripping back up to that 359 zone. That's where it would start ripping back up, right? So I really want to be hoping in terms of like being micro bearish and you're, playing these key breakdowns at the lower end of the channel. I wouldn't be hoping for like a crack of like 350, especially that 350 level. So those are all things that I want to bring awareness to in terms of like what should happen if this does, go super bearish and stay under 358. It's going to try to hit 353. We should see some sort of nice bounce at 350 to 353, in my opinion, in between this gap here and this gap here, two gaps to fill. Now, let's talk upside potential, right? So in terms of the bulls, right, what the bulls need to do is they need to quickly turn the previous closing price, this 357.74, into a support level. And they need to do it quick. They need to do it early in the fucking morning. You can see right here. They're not doing it. It's just, it has a little break above the previous closing price, and then it sells off quickly. Has a little break above the previous closing price, then it sells off quickly. For this to be a true bullish flip, they need to do it early. They need to break above it early. They need to turn it into a support level early. And if they can do that, we can potentially see a break of trend. So just understand, in terms of like micro reversals, if that reversal were to occur, you need a strong break above previous closing price, and it needs to react as a support level. If it has a break above the previous closing price and then just instantly goes back under it and then forms lower highs and reacts as a resistance level like it's doing on these 30-minute candles, then that's super bearish. So in order for the bulls to really gain control of this situation for a micro bullish reversal, they need to break above 358 and turn it into a support level. You need to understand, this is like hanging by a thread. This is true make it or break it price action. And we really need to be paying attention to this previous closing price, because you could see right here, $357.74, big upside potential to 362. History repeated itself. SPY went a little bit lower below this support level, but it bottomed out towards this, key support level towards 355. If you go further back into the chart, like I showed you in terms of the overall price channel, and then it rocketed back up. But then again, we have the sell off. It flips green to red. Right now, it is trying to turn this support into resistance. That's what it's trying to do. So in terms of trend direction for tomorrow, I truly believe that this previous closing price is really going to help us with that direction. You could see how key this 357.74 level was here with big upside potential. So if you see the SPY crack and go under this 357.78, it's going to get fucking bloody. And then just understand, if we break above this 358.50 to 359, then we will go to the next resistance level at 360.50. If it goes above 360.50, then we go to the next resistance level at 363, right? So those are my thoughts. That's my analysis. It's true make or break it. We need to focus and identify. Is the previous closing price reacting as a resistance? If so, then super bearish. Or is it breaking out and reacting as a strong support level early into the morning? Then it would be bullish in that case scenario. Just remember, if it flips green to red, it goes bearish. If it flips red to green, it goes bullish. Just remember that. Do not get caught up in the wrong side of the move, right? If it looks bearish here and you're buying puts, you need to understand that it's a very low micro level and there's big squeeze potential. So if it starts going against you, just get out and you can always get back in, or you can switch to calls if you want. If you see a strong reaction, a bullish reaction at 357.74 and it's forming support, starting to break out, then you could try to buy some calls, ride it up a little bit, right? Just things I really do want to bring awareness to is in terms of the market, right? It is extremely hard to trust calls at key resistance levels, especially towards overreactions, especially towards the upper end of the channel. So those are all things that I want to bring awareness to. Like this is a nice overreaction. You can see right here, 357 to 363, nice overreaction, it collapses. Same thing occurs, nice overreaction, it collapses, right? And if you ever see the previous closing price react as a resistance, it is super bearish, opportunity for puts. If you ever see the previous closing price react as a support level, it is super bullish, opportunity for calls. Now, in terms of what we can say is, the bulls did fail to, close overall pretty strong, and the bulls did fail to turn the previous closing price into support. But we are sitting at a lower end of the channel with big upside potential and a gap to fill above. And you can see we have a lot of support at 350.5. So these are just all things that you need to be aware of, right? Just be aware. Ask yourself, who is going to be on the wrong side of the trade? Who is going to get screwed at these key levels, right? So those are all things that I wanted to bring awareness to in terms of this market. And we discussed the upside potential. We also discussed the downside potential. Now, let's go over the key stocks. So in terms of Tesla, right? Tesla has this gap. There's this gap that I've been waiting to fill for like a week now at $213.10. So the gap's at 213.10. If you see a strong bullish confirmation at 213.10 or maybe even a little bit lower at 209, you're going to want to scalp calls. Right now, it's dropping during after hours. It's heading back towards the lows. So we'll see how it reacts. If it cracks through, then it's going to be a pretty bearish day. But just pay attention, man, because there's been some very sharp bounces at these key levels. There's been a lot of sharp bounces on SPY at this 355, this 357, double bottom today at 356. I mean, this is truly make it or break it. And I genuinely believe the level that's going to really determine whether we're going to have a reversal or it's going to be a bloodbath to 353 to 350. I genuinely believe that it's going to be this previous closing price at 357. That would be a strong determining factor. So I'm going to pay close attention to how it reacts. I think that's going to really help us determine if it reacts as a resistance, then we go to 353 to 350. If it reacts as support, then we go to back to 360 to 363. I genuinely believe that's going to help us with trend direction. And the chart has already shown you what it has done. So we need to pay close attention to how it reacts tomorrow because it's truly make or break. Can you buy at the right moment? And like I said, if we have a sharp pullback to like 350 to 353, I would say ideal level for calls would be 350. That'd be like your best level. And I think it will bounce back for the micro. If we see a sharp pullback where it goes under 355, I'm telling you, call options for a scalp at 350. That's my key fucking level. Write that down, man. That should be a good play. The first time it tests 350, if it can quickly take out and have an overreaction to the downside and crack this 355, 356 level, I think it's going to be a good opportunity for scalping calls. Just remember, there has to be bullish reaction, bullish confirmation. Once you get the bullish confirmation, wait for it to drop back down. Buy the calls into the red candle. Get the best entry where everyone's going to be getting stopped out. And then same thing for puts. Wait for the bearish reaction, wait for the bearish confirmation, and then wait for it to rip back up quickly on these 1 minute pops, on these 1 minute candles, right? And then buy the puts into the green candles. Get the best entry where everyone's going to be getting stopped out, right? They're going to be like, oh my God, it's going to try to break out. No, it's just a double top. Play the double tops, right? Don't play the single top. And get in terms of calls on the red candles and in terms of puts on the green candles. That one simple tweak will get you an amazing entry. And instead of getting stopped out, you'll still be in the trade. So yeah, I want to bring awareness to all of that. That little tweak can help you a lot with options if you do it the right way. There's a right way to buy calls and red candles, and there's a wrong way to buy puts into green candles, right? There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. But at the end of the day, you're getting a much better entry, and that's going to help you a lot in terms of avoid getting stopped out and much bigger percentage returns, because entry is everything with options, especially if you're doing same day expirations. So in terms of Amazon had a gap at 110.63. Like I told you guys, I was looking for the reversal at 110.63. Look at this, man. Who watched the video? Who watched the video that I posted on Sunday? Top 3 option plays. Amazon calls. You see a bullish bounce, scout the calls. I bet you 99% of the people who watched that video did not buy calls into the bullish green candle. You see a nice bullish green candle, you see the bullish confirmation, scalp some calls. And sure enough, Amazon had a gap close reversal. So it's already played out. I'm staying away from it now. It played out, it had its hit. Now it's off my watch list. Boom, just like that. Deleted. It had its gap close reversal. I'm not going to play it again because the gap already filled. Just remember, when you see those oversold gap fills and it has that sharp bounce, that bullish confirmation, look at this. This is a nice bullish confirmation, right? On the 5 minute, this is very bullish, a bullish pin right here towards key support. And then it's been ripping up since then. So there you go. That was a nice gap close reversal that I gave you guys within the top 3 option plays. That one ended up working out. Our next one is Nvidia. Nvidia is very make it or break, again, extremely interesting here. So this one, I've been studying the key level. Our key level was the gap fill level right here, which has filled. As you can see right here, we have a gap with huge upside micro potential at $115.93, right? So 115.93, there was a gap to fill, and let's study how it's been reacting. It has been cracking that support level, but it keeps trying to push above it. So this is what I want you to understand, man. I want you to focus on Nvidia. This is going to be one of my top, in terms of all the stocks that I'm watching right now, I'm going to say this is my favorite one right now. I want you to keep a close eye on this Nvidia. This 116 level is so significant. It is truly make it or break. If you see it react as a resistance, it's going to be a bloodbath. If you see it break down, react to support, it's going to start to rocket, right? You just got to be very careful, though, in terms of buying breakouts in this market. It's got to have a very strong reaction, and you got to cut losses quickly, man. If you're going to do it, it's got to be towards the lower end of the channel, but I wouldn't recommend it at all. What I dislike about buying this is, it's at a resistance level. It's at a breakout level. 116 failed to turn into support. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, man. If it reacts as a resistance, I will look to scalp puts on Nvidia towards that 115.86 level. This is key make it or break it level. If you see 115.86 react as a resistance, scalp puts. If it's breaking out and looking bullish, then scalp calls. Just understand, we're in a very tough market to be buying calls at resistance levels with nice downside potential. Now, the upside is we are towards lower end of channels, which is good, but just be aware of that, right? Because a lot of people got hurt on SPY calls today when they were buying at resistance levels. I mean, you could just see right here, SPY has a rip from this 357 and it goes to 362.30, and today it went even lower. It went lower than last time. It went to like 356. It went even lower, and it topped out at like the same level. So if it's going lower and topping out at the same level, the downside potential is going to be pretty brutal in that situation, and calls are going to be less attractive. If you see it cracking below support and then ripping back to the same resistance level, calls on breakouts aren't attractive. It's due for some sort of pullback. It's overexhausted. Look at this, man. You had the bearish gravestone doji. You had a lot of confirmations on reasons to be bearish towards this 363 level. You can see it's just consistently forming lower highs, forming lower highs, forming lower highs. You have the red, green, red flip with the big double red candle, right? So remember that pattern as well. You can see right here, you have the red, green, red flip, and then it goes lower, right? Red, green, red flip, then it goes lower. It's no longer turning previous resistance into support. Your previous resistance is up here at 362. That's now resistance, lower highs, breaking down, going lower, going lower, going lower. It doesn't look that bullish, right? So don't get caught up in these fake outs. So yeah, those are all the things that I wanted to bring awareness to in terms of this video. Those are going to be the top stocks and the top plays that I'm looking at. So heading in tomorrow, my main focus as of now is going to be on Nvidia, Tesla, and SPY. Those are my top 3 for tomorrow: Nvidia, Tesla, and SPY. With that being said, that's going to be wrapping up today's video. If you do want to join us in Trader Society, that's going to be the first link down below in the description. All of the information is going to be explained on the first link. Just click the link. It's the first one in the description. You get instant lifetime access. It's a one-time fee to join. And it's all explained within there if you want to learn more about it. You get started as soon as you join. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow live towards market open.